You're about to see the weirdest Indy car ever built. A car so asymmetric, so unstable, so wrong, that officials at Indianapolis basically said, "Yeah, never bring that thing back." And it wasn't built by a rookie. It came from the most dangerous genius in racing history, Smokey Yunick. But here's the twist. This insane sidecar-style race car didn't start in a garage. It started 20 years earlier, in a war zone, at 30,000 feet. Keep watching. Because the real reason this car was banned is something Indy still doesn't talk about. The year was 1944. Smokey Yunick wasn't yet a racing legend. He was a B-17 bomber pilot over Europe. And in the middle of a sky filled with flak, smoke, and tracer rounds, he saw something impossible. A German reconnaissance plane with its cockpit built off to the side, hanging like an outrigger. The Blohm & Voss BV-141, the strangest, most lopsided warplane ever made. But here's the wild part. It worked. It flew beautifully. No symmetry, no logic. Just pure engineering audacity. That moment stuck with Smokey. Even after the war. Even after he became the outlaw godfather of American racing. He couldn't shake one question. If a totally unbalanced plane can fly, why can't a totally unbalanced car go faster? And 2 decades later, he built it. 1964, Daytona Beach. Smokey Yunick and shifter king George Hurst rolled out a machine that looked like it came from another planet. The Capsule Car, a central fuselage for the drivetrain, and the driver bolted to the outside, in a pod hanging off the left side. The idea was insane, but brilliant. Put the 3 heaviest components, engine, fuel, and driver, into perfect balance throughout an entire race. Less weight transfer, less body roll, more speed. Smokey wanted a turbine engine. Indy said no. So he installed a Torquay, reliable 4-cylinder Offenhauser. This thing had Pontiac Tempest brakes thinned to save weight. A transverse monoleaf spring, acting as a suspension link. A de Dion rear setup, coilovers, trailing arms, and a tubular space frame. A square steering wheel so the driver's knees wouldn't get crushed. A combined clutch and shifter lever built by Hurst. And the cockpit. Held to the chassis with 5 bolts, Indy mechanics whispered genius. Others whispered death trap. Smokey just said, "If it works, they'll call me brilliant. If it crashes, they'll call me Smokey." May 24th, 1964. Qualifying day. Bobby Johns strapped into the pod, sitting inches from the asphalt, his body practically hanging off the left side of the car. Lap 1 started beautifully. The crowd leaned in. The car was fast, shockingly fast. Then came turn 1. Smokey used Tempest drum brakes because they were lightweight, but cold. They were unpredictable. Johns tapped the pedal, and the brakes grabbed violently. The capsule car snapped sideways. It spun, once, twice, a full 720 degree, and slammed into the outside wall. Bobby survived, barely shaken. But the car was done. Smokey's gamble detonated on turn 1, qualifying was over, and Indy looked at that exposed side pod and said, "Never again." By the next season, new rules quietly outlawed the entire concept. The capsule car wasn't just wrecked, it was erased. Smokey eventually donated the car to the Indy Museum, and there it sits today. A strange, lopsided monument to a man who refused to think normal. Kids stare at it. Engineers sketch it. Everyone asks the same question. Could this actually have worked? Smokey never gave a straight answer. He didn't have to. Innovation isn't always supposed to win. Sometimes, it's supposed to scare people. If you love stories about insane engineering battles, you'll love what came before this one, my previous video. What made Chevy 292 versus Ford 300 unstoppable? The twist at the end shocked even longtime gearheads. This is MotorVault, and this was Smokey Yunick's lopsided Outlaw.